perimeter and coordinate infrastructure repairs. USAR operations continue on both incidents and are moving quickly through the areas with minimal impact. We continue to pre-position resources, and we currently have a mobilization center in Riverside County at Beaumont that are available for any potential new starts. CAL FIRE will continue to support our partners in Unified Command, and we would like to request that you remain patient with us during this difficult time. For the most current fire information, please visit fire.ca.gov. And next, I'd like to introduce LA City Fire Chief.
Well, good morning, everyone. And due to the continued around-the-clock efforts of our firefighters, first responders, and all those that are assigned to the incident, we are very fortunate that this last wind event did not cause any expansion of the Palisades Fire. In addition, as I mentioned yesterday, the brush fire in the Lakeview Terrace area of Los Angeles was aggressively attacked and halted. We truly appreciate the community and how they've remained alert and followed all advice. Together, we are able to move forward in the recovery of these devastating fires. As we take a step back and we've made it through this wind event, I think it's really important just briefly we talk about the winds aren't necessarily here in the city, but with that we still have, a large amount of unburned dry fuel with low humidity. We need to make sure that the community is thinking about how to prepare and prevent at this point, and also what we just heard is there's a potential Santa Ana winds coming on Monday and Tuesday. Now, to focus on a different area as we're coming out of these wind events for unimpacted areas of the city, just as we take a big step back. There are more extreme winds on the horizons, like I said, next week, and our community needs to remain ready. It is important that you protect yourselves and your family by planning, preparing, and staying aware. Flying embers from a wildfire can destroy homes over a mile away. Taking the necessary measures to prepare your home can help increase its chance of survival when wildland fires strike. Clear all brush within 200 feet of your home. Allow the LAFD and other first responders that fighting chance to respond quickly if a wildfire reaches your community. For more information, visit lafd.org/wildfire. I will now provide an update on the Palisades Fire. The fire is 23,713 acres with 22% containment with 5,032 personnel assigned. Using infrared mapping, air and ground resources continue to seek out hotspots and putting them out. Favorable weather conditions assisted firefighters in increasing the containment and extinguishment. Now, I know that the question of all of us up here is on the top of your minds of when we can return and you can return back to the communities. I can tell you, know that we are working as quickly as possible to do just that, to make sure that this is safe for you to return to your communities. The ongoing search and rescue mission continues to limit utility agencies' abilities to repair infrastructure. I can tell you the entire city family is working collaboratively to get you back into your homes and communities as soon and as safely as possible. I just want to give you one small example of this. Yesterday, our hazmat teams from across the state worked tirelessly for the purpose of ensuring that when the evacuation orders are lifted, our community members can rest assured that their homes have been scanned and screened and cleared of any dangerous chemicals. This will take time. So, when we ask you to remain patient, know that together we are working around the clock to get you back to your homes and to the community. With that, I would now like to introduce Sheriff Luna.
Good morning, Robert Luna, Sheriff of Los Angeles County. Personnel deployment, it remains about the same. We have about 1,300 deputies to both incidences, both at the Eaton Fire and Palisades Fire. We have about 220 California Highway Patrol officers. The governor asked that we surge more CHP officers into both areas from a looting perspective, so they've been working with our folks to do that, so I thank the governor for his support. We still have assistance from the Drug Enforcement Administration, from the Los Angeles field office. We have over 20 agents with us that are assisting us, and we still continue to have well over 900 California National Guard personnel that are assisting multiple agencies in our area, the impacted area here. Evacuation orders remain. They fluctuate between 100 here, 100 there. They go up, they go down, but under evacuation orders, about 82,400. Warnings, about the same as yesterday, 90,400. Please keep up with the information we're putting out, because that could change, hopefully for the better, but we'll see what happens. The curfew is still in effect from 6 p.m. To 6 a.m. So again, you don't belong there, please do not go there. Regarding arrest for the LA County Sheriff's area, our total is at 47. We have 36 at the Eaton incident and 11 at the Palisades incident. Palisades increased by several. Last night, 3, 36, or I'm sorry, Eaton did not increase. The arrests that we continue to see, and I want to just a point of clarification for our community members. One is I talk about curfew, which takes place from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. There is another penal code that we use during the day, because if you are not supposed to be in an evacuation order area and a law enforcement officer, deputy sheriff, CHP officer, LAPD, whoever it is, tells you to leave and you refuse to leave, you are subject to arrest during the day as well. I just want to clarify that again, if you do not have any legitimate business, day or night, do not go. You are subject to arrest. Regarding search and rescue operations, my other partners that have come before me, I think we're making it pretty clear that there are multiple reasons why we cannot let people in yet. Yes, we're trying to work towards that. I'm going to say it's probably at least a week out. You've heard that already. Our search and rescue operations continue in both the Eaton and Palisades area. Searches are continuing, and we still have a variety of work and structures to go through. But even as we're going through some of these grids, there are areas that we are holding because we believe there may be deceased victims there. We have to hold for the right time and the right resources to process the scene correctly, and that's going to take a little while. Please be patient with us. We know people want to get back into their neighborhoods, but we're talking about people who have passed, and that's not always a good thing to talk about. In regards to deaths, unfortunately, we did go up by 2 yesterday, one in the Eaton area and one in the Palisades area, and we continue to work with multiple partners, not only in the recovery of remains, but then ultimately the notification or identification of the deceased, and then the notification to the next of kin with our partners at the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Office. Regarding missing persons, there have been a total of 43 missing person reports taken in these incidences. Thank God 12 of them have been found to be safe. That's an increase of 7 more that were safely found, but we do have 31 active missing persons reported, 24 in the Eaton area. That is an increase of 4 from yesterday, 7 in the Palisades area, which is an increase of 1 from yesterday. As I conclude, if you have any questions about updated either evacuation orders or warnings, road closures, please go to lacounty.gov/emergency. I will now introduce the Chief of Police for the Los Angeles Police Department, Jim McDonald.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good morning. Over the last week, the magnitude of this disaster has come into focus. I remained humbled by the scope of the destruction, but also amazed by the countless acts of kindness I've witnessed and the heroic acts undertaken by so many. We'll continue to remain committed to protecting lives and property and remain focused on keeping the public safe. As all stakeholders continue to work to make evacuation zones safe for repopulation, please know that LAPD remains on tactical alert and will continue to dedicate whatever resources are necessary to keep everyone safe. For the upcoming 24-hour period, LAPD will continue to deploy approximately 600 officers to the impacted areas, with support from the Los Angeles Airport Police, Port Police, and the National Guard, who provided approximately 600 soldiers assigned to the Palisades incident. We're very grateful for their support. Also joining our efforts, the California Highway Patrol sent additional officers to the Palisades area, and these contributions are important as they free up LAPD officers to stay focused on crime suppression and investigations. We've deployed volunteers from Team Rubicon who are answering questions at checkpoints and are easily identifiable by the gray T-shirts. I want to thank our LAPD officers and our partner agencies for their ongoing support in keeping our community safe. On the missing persons front, we continue to dedicate resources to all reports of missing persons. As of this morning, we have 38 reported missing. 30 of those have been found safe, 3 have most likely been found deceased, and 5 remain missing. We have no new fire area-related arrests or notable arrests within this last 24-hour period. If you notice anything suspicious or potentially connected to these incidents, please report it immediately. You can do so anonymously through Crime Stoppers or by calling Los Angeles Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS or by visiting lacrimestoppers.org. In closing, I know that for so many, the events of the last few days have been life-altering. Please know that as we move forward, the LAPD remains committed to keeping you and our community safe as we recover. Thank you. I'd like to introduce now U.S. Environmental Protection Agency Incident Commander Tara Fitzgerald.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Tara Fitzgerald. I'm with the United States Environmental Protection Agency. The U.S. EPA has been tasked by FEMA to conduct Phase 1 household hazardous materials removal in the burn footprints. We are beginning this work today. We have personnel on the ground in both the Eaton and Palisades footprints conducting assessments. We're working closely with state and local agencies to conduct this work, and the initial phase of household hazardous materials includes removal of the most immediate risk to public health and workers returning to work within the burn footprint. That includes things like pesticides, batteries, including the risk of damaged lithium-ion batteries, fuel, and other things that would normally go to a household hazardous waste management landfill. Again, we are working quickly to ramp up and look forward to being able to support this recovery effort. Next up is LA County Public Works Director Mark Pestrea.
Good morning, everyone. And again, my heart goes out to the residents of both fire areas within the city and the Altadena area. Right now, the Public Works Directors from both City of Los Angeles and myself for the County of Los Angeles are actively assessing the damage that's occurred to these fires and making provisions to create safe access for our residents and make the lots safe as well for enter. We are advising the sheriff and the chief of police from the cities about repopulation. Our part in that is to be certain that we can get a resident back in free from hazards when they enter their property. The properties have been damaged beyond belief. They are full of sediment, debris, silt, and hazardous materials. You just heard our partner from EPA who are here to help us remove and prepare the area, remove the toxics from the facilities. But what remains is a load of debris that also has to be removed from the site. So we are working on that process of debris removal in conjunction with the City of Los Angeles. We are also working with utilities, as I said, to restore power, water, and sewer to locations. all of which have been damaged to the point that they cannot be delivered safely currently in most of the areas. Some areas, as Sheriff alluded to, may be able to return because those communities didn't suffer this much infrastructure damage. We are also, as the Chief Engineer of the Los Angeles County Flood Control District, we are also assessing the impact to the flood control system that serves the entire region, including both these burn areas. Both areas suffered watershed damage, burn to such a significance that we expect massive debris laden flows when it rains. Our system of flood control is designed to handle that debris along with the streets. However, in an event that we have major rain, we do expect that all of the street areas and all the communities will be impacted by debris flows that could be hazardous to human health. In order to address this, we are developing plans for both areas to capture and hold this debris back as much as we can during a rain event. I have to give everyone an early warning that we do expect the window to open for rain in the later part of this month, and so we are already pre-deploying labor forces into the area to make sure that the flood control system is ready, as well as our street system is ready, again, as much as possible for that rain event. So we are coordinating utilities. We're advising both the city and the county about our readiness for people to return. That work is ongoing, and we will continue to provide updates as we make our way through the system, so that essentially you can live there safely and our first responders can serve you. That's the other thing, is we could have incidents once you get back in, and we need to have the access in place and the water in place to, take care of what may be future incidents, even structure fires. So there's lots of work to do for our public works agencies in order for us to say that these areas are ready to be restored. Lastly, on rebuilding, the rebuilding process will be streamlined. It will be organized as directed by both elected bodies, but particularly the Board of Supervisors have directed me to prepare the Altadena area as if it is a master plan community in which we are redeveloping the entire area. This master planning is already beginning. When I say master planning, what I'm talking about is preparing your properties for you to restore your homes on them. That again involves master planning all the utilities, the water system, the sewer system, and the road system. The first step in that process of development is to remove the debris from the site. As you heard from EPA, they'll take the toxics off. The county, in conjunction with the city, will be doing a debris removal process in which we will work together to safely remove the debris from an environmental perspective and from a site readiness perspective, so that your property will be ready to be rebuilt on properly and orderly. That system is already in place. We're working with the federal government and the state government to put that into place, and there'll be more information to come on that process. If you want to learn more about the rebuilding process, please go to recovery.lacounty.gov. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm LA County Supervisor Catherine Barger and Chair of the Board. Yesterday, I visited Altamed Clinic in East Washington in Pasadena. Just overlooking Eaton Canyon, this building was one of the first lost in last week's fire. The Altamed Clinic is right next door to a skilled nursing facility, the same one that I'm sure we all watched, that was evacuated because there were elderly residents and they were being wheeled down the street while embers blew past the building as it burned. Visiting with Altamed team was a stark reminder that our communities lost more than just their homes. They lost their businesses, their communities, and their access to health care. Despite the lingering destruction, Altamed is already planning to return and provide services to the neighborhood. I left my visit full of hope that not only will our residents rebuild, but the full community will return around them. This morning on Lake Avenue next to the grocery outlet, a large sign stands saying, "Altadena strong, we will rebuild." I know there's been a lot of confusion and unanswered questions why people can't return to their properties. I want to make sure that everyone knows what goes into safely repopulating an area. It is important for all residents residents returning to their properties to do so safely. That is why Incident Command has been messaging precautions that need to be taken. We cannot allow residents to continually be frustrated every day without a timeline. They deserve these answers. And I am pushing the Unified Command to be swift and clear with the community. We've also installed signs across the roads leading into the impacted areas to educate residents on the risk. We will also be equipping our residents with tools to return safely, which means gloves, eye goggles, to make sure that when they are on the site, they are protected. As residents repopulate the area, debris cleaning kits will be made available to give residents everything they need to safely sift through their debris and look for valuables. I'm also asking the Department of Mental Health to be on the ground with community members to assist them with the emotional load of re-entering. As we consider all the components of debris removal, I wanted to briefly mention mudslides because they are always a risk after a major fire event. The county is fully committed to bracing for these additional weather forecasts. We will take all necessary steps to prepare Altadena and look out for our residents. I and our entire county are dedicated to proactively identifying and addressing the needs of our residents and keeping them safe in the process. I make you that promise. With that, I'd like to introduce LA City Mayor Karen Bass.
Thank you, Supervisor. Good morning. I don't believe that we could thank our first responders enough. The firefighters, the police officers have been working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week through this emergency. We have to make sure that we can continue to help them, and so I will reiterate, as I've said the last couple of days, if you're in an area where you're not supposed to be, please leave. If you're in an area that is still facing a warning, please get ready to leave now and consider leaving early. I am hoping that as the winds subside, that we can see a light at the end of the tunnel and that individuals can get their life back on track to recover and to rebuild. Yesterday, I was at the Disaster Recovery Center. It opened full-time yesterday, beginning at 9 in the morning, and over 300 families visited. I hope that people will continue to encourage and spread the word about the disaster recovery centers. There is a variety of services that you can get there. Short-term financial and housing relief for evacuees, driver's license, California IDs replaced. FEMA and SBA are there to assist businesses, and I'm extending the deadline to file city business taxes from the end of February to the end of March. Crisis intervention services are there, and while you're in the recovery center, you can see the emotional toll that this disaster has taken on people. As I spoke to people who had lost their homes or who were not sure the status of their homes, missing pets, the toll you can see mounting on them, but what was hopeful was the fact that there were services there to take care of them. There are mental health and other social services that are there. I was also encouraged that there were a number of people sitting at the city services tables who were ready to rebuild. The executive orders that were put in place are already being implemented. City departments were there. Building and Safety, Department of Water and Power are there on site. And I want to thank the incredible work of many nonprofits. Of course, the American Red Cross, Team Rubicon, Habitat for Humanity, an organization that actor Sean Penn created called CORE to help people get housed as soon as possible. And then yesterday we received an important announcement from our insurance commissioner, Ricardo Lara, that State Farm Insurance will offer renewals to affected policyholders. This is extremely important because we know in some of the affected areas, insurance companies were already pulling out. And the fact that State Farm is not going to do that, I think is very encouraging. So the Disaster Assistance Center is located at the UCLA Research Park, which is on the corner of Pico and Overland. It's open from 9 a.m. until 8 p.m., 7 days per week. And please, please, please spread the word so that people know that those services are available. And as always, if any Angelino has any questions about assistance, recovery, or how we might move forward from this crisis, please visit lacity.gov. It's now a one-stop shop for assistance for those impacted and a place to help Angelinos find ways to get involved. And I think the involvement of Angelinos has been so impressive, people going out of their way to assist others. Yesterday, I met an optometrist who was replacing glasses for free for people who had lost their glasses who were in a shelter nearby. And we know that people are stepping up around the world to support Angelinos. LA's sister city, Busan in South Korea, pledged to donate more than $100,000 to support our recovery efforts. Japan also contributed to the Red Cross. YouTube and Google are contributing $50 million to organizations providing immediate relief in LA. The California Community Foundation's Wildlife Recovery Fund has received more than $24 million, with the first grants being distributed tomorrow. Those donations are from more than 23,000 donors. I want to make sure that people know the website, calfund.org, calfund.org. We're concerned, as has been mentioned in previous press conferences, that there's a number of sites that are fake, and we want to make sure that people give to the correct site, calfund.org. The kindness, generosity, and the spirit of the community that I have seen from so many Angelinos over the last few days really does confirm that we are going to rebuild, and we will rebuild and restore and build even better our city of Los Angeles. Los Angeles strong. We are one city. We stand here united. Thank you, and let me introduce Supervisor Lindsay Horvath.
Thank you, Mayor. As you've heard, the red flag warning is no longer in effect. You can expect cooler temperatures and higher humidities, though next week we do anticipate Santa Ana winds returning. Continue to check emergency.lacounty.gov for the latest updates and resources on emergency conditions. With regard to county services and school updates, for FEMA assistance, you have until March 10th to apply for individual FEMA assistance and 18 months to complete the paperwork. Please apply ASAP so you are in their system and you have that 18-month window to work with them to receive all of the benefits that you not only need in this time, but you deserve. Disaster Recovery Center at UCLA Research Park West continues to be open from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily. I too visited yesterday and saw the myriad of resources that are there. If you have questions about your property tax assessment, the county assessor is on site. If you need assistance filling your prescriptions, Department of Public Health is on site. If you'd like support speaking with your children about this disaster, Department of Mental Health is on site. There are a variety of resources there to help you. The FEMA staff on site said they had never seen such a robust resource center stood up with a variety of resources all available to you. Please come. There are many people there who want to help and support you. LA County Public Works and Planning will help with rebuilding. LA Public Health and Mental Health with their supportive services are on hand as well. Our 3rd District team is there every day to assist those impacted by the Palisades and other wildfires in the district, and there remain 7 LAUSD schools that are in evacuation zones. Topanga Elementary students should go to Woodland Hills Academy, Canyon Charter Elementary students to Brockton Elementary, Kenter Canyon Elementary students to Emerson Middle School, Lanai Road Elementary students to Portola Middle School, Roscomari Road Elementary students to Warner Elementary, Community Charter Magnet students to Westwood Elementary, and Paul Revere Middle School students to University High School Charter. For animal support, please call our Department of Animal Care and Control at 562-940-6898 to help with pet reunification. This is on the county areas. Our DACC staff and mutual aid partners have successfully evacuated over 100 animals to the Agora Animal Care Center. I was there yesterday and got to see many of the evacuated animals, including beautiful tortoises from the Topanga area. There's Ethel, the house chicken, and so many others. We are so grateful to those who are supporting our animal companions. It gives people peace of mind to be able to leave their homes and know that their beloved animals are being cared for in this very difficult time. LA County Parks are hosting care camps for young people impacted by the fires. You can go to parks.lacounty.gov/care camps to register and for more information. And for all recovery information in the county, please go to recovery.lacounty.gov. Price gouging continues to be an issue that is top of mind and a painful experience for those who are seeking to recover in this difficult time. DCBA, our Department of Consumer and Business Affairs, has a price gouging task force that includes our LA District Attorney, County Council's Consumer Protection Division, LA City Attorney, and Santa Monica City Attorney. I spoke again with our California Attorney General, who is here in Los Angeles today, and he is pursuing vigorous investigations which have already begun. Reporting price gouging and other predatory practices can be done at oag.ca.gov/report, or you can call LA County Department of Consumer and Business Affairs at 800-593-8222. I want to echo my gratitude to the first responders who have stepped up in the most dangerous of conditions, thanking all of our local, state, and federal partners who have joined with us. Yesterday, we joined with Speaker Rivas, our state assembly member, Jackie Irwin, and other local elected officials in the Santa Monica Mountains and Canoga Valley region. And we have heard how they are going to be using the special session to focus specifically not only on the dollars and cents that will be invested in Los Angeles County, but also how they will be specifically using services and the full weight of the California government to support those on the ground. Thank you to everyone who has been working with us to keep each other safe, to keep each other supported and cared for in this difficult time. We appreciate all of your help.
Helen Chavez Garcia, Communication Director for Chair Catherine Barger. We thank the Superintendent of Public Instruction, Tony Thurman, for being here today and showing his support. We will now transition to the question and answer portion of this press conference. I want to announce this is the last press conference that we will be hosting on a daily basis as a one-voice effort. We will transition to press conferences on an as-needed basis to show a unified voice. With that being said, please raise your hands, announce your name and the media outlet you are with, and a microphone will be brought to you. We're going to start over here on the lower left.
Hi, Grace Tui, Los Angeles Times. We had heard about a landslide or a hillside collapse in the Palisades Fire area and was hoping to get some details about that incident, what might have caused it, and if we're concerned that that might be an issue moving forward in either of the fires, obviously before rains even come. I know you guys were talking about rains.
Thank you for your question. Mark Pastrella, Director of Public Works, LA County. In a joint effort, the City of Los Angeles and the County of Los Angeles, including the LA County Flood Control District, has been assessing the watershed areas, including geology, soils, and water conditions in both watersheds that have been burned. The area that you're talking about, the Palisades, is suffering right now. What you'll see on the slopes, you'll see what we call dry Ravel, which is these slopes that are oversteepened have been really dried out, and you will see this raveling of the slopes and what looks like a landslide, and it is a landslide, debris into the streets and into properties. Some of this material is supporting some of the structures that have remained behind. There has been inundation to some extent of water into the system. You can imagine the amount of water that was placed in the firefighting effort. There were also gas lines and water lines that were destroyed in the system. I can speak for our LA County waterworks system in the Malibu area, where we have assessed our system and got all of those, cut water off where we didn't need it leaking all over the street. We did that for two reasons. One is because we wanted to maintain a water pressure in the system and not lose it to properties, but also in anticipation that it could grease the wheel of landslides. One of the other areas that residents may be noticing is the Topanga, the lower Topanga area. We're having a significant amount of this dry Ravel condition in that area as well. We're working in consultation and side by side with Caltrans to maintain those slopes so that we can continue to have access into the area. So a warning to all the residents, no matter where you live in LA County, if you have slopes behind your homes, or if you're located on the top of a slope, these slopes have become fragile. The soil that is supporting your home have all become fragile and damaged, if you will, due to the events that we've had, wind included. There are mud and debris, as Supervisor Barger said, debris flow hazards that are existing even when it's not raining. So we want people to be very careful. If a resident is noticing any of these conditions in and around their property, in the fire area or outside of it, please contact 211, and we will send a team of geologists and soils engineers and flood control engineers to take a look at your property and make an assessment as to what you might do on your property to safeguard your property.
And we'll go right here in the middle. Microphone, please.
Jorge Macias, La Opinión newspaper. As everybody knows, many people living in Altadena, they were renting and they lost everything too. Many of them were not owners of their house. So what specific help by the city, the county, or the state are for those people who were renting or who were undocumented? And the second question is about the cleaning up. Can you please tell us about what kind of health dangers are for people if they start the cleanup by themselves and moving debris, as you mentioned today?
So I think on the first one, what I will tell you is that we recognize that there are many people that were not owners of the homes that were destroyed. And that's why it's important to go to these centers that have been set up both in the west side, but also Pasadena City College on Foothill Boulevard, to get more information about the resources available to help them relocate, because we're cognizant of the fact that we're not just targeting homeowners, but also those that have lost a rental piece of property where they were renting. And so, you know, we're constantly moving forward, recognizing that it's not a one-size-fits-all. And so, again, these centers, as the mayor said and my colleague, Supervisor Horvath, have everything under one roof. I've been out there, and I've been so impressed with the fact that you can get, you know, documents, information about rentals, I mean, across the board. So I would encourage people to go and access all that information. And then I'm going to let Mark Pastrella answer the second part.
Supervisor, I have Dr. Davis answer.
Hello, Dr. Manju Davis, Los Angeles County Health Officer with the Department of Public Health. It's a great question that you ask. You know, we talk about getting folks and cleaning up before people get back, but we recognize that there may be a point where people do get back. But understand that as you think about fire-damaged areas and everything that was in that, there will still be some hazards. You know, there's asbestos, there's heavy metals, and other chemicals that would need to be taken care of. And so as people go back into these areas, we really want them to take precautions. So wear closed-toe, sturdy shoes. You know, keep an N95 mask or a P100 mask on in order to not breathe in any of this dirt and contaminated ash that's in that area as you move around. Just consider it as if you're walking into a dirty room with light dust. Each time you move around, each time you move something, it sort of stirs that up, and there's some risk related to that. So even wearing goggles as you do that is important to do as well. And as you're coming out of that area, you know, try to dust yourself off. Use baby wipes to, you know, clean that off so you don't take that into your car or wherever you're staying. But there are those risks that are still there, which is why this debris removal process must happen in a certain way. take out those visible hazardous household materials that may be there. Then think about how that cleanup is going to happen in terms of the fire debris, the burned structures, the materials that were there, the foundations, all of that must happen in an organized way. And so there has been an order released in order to specify that unsafe removal of fire debris should not happen, and to specify that must have the hazardous materials removed first, and then debris removal program will be put in place. If you choose to do it on your own, you must follow certain steps and get approval prior to that happening. So those are some of the risks, but we know that as people go back, we do want them to wear those N95, wear sturdy shoes, long sleeves, long pants, and wear some goggles if needed as you go through and assess your property.
Thank you. We're going to go over here in the front.
Sorry. Josh Haskell, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. First of all, on repopulation, since we don't have an exact date yet, we know that it's going to take time, especially for those dangerous areas. We're getting a lot of questions about people that just, they don't necessarily want to go back and stay or spend a lot of time there. They want 15 minutes. They want to get that medication, take a look at their property, have eyes on their property. We know that there were escorts, then there weren't escorts. What is the current status of that? How do people get in contact to get a particular escort to their property? Who can they reach out to? And also some of the questions that we're getting from viewers, I just want to ask one. It's about water quality. If you don't live in the fire zone, what is the state of your water? Has ash gotten into the entire water supply? Thanks.
Yeah, so that's a good question. So I'm going to answer as a member of a unified command team, because when you talk about water quality, we're talking about public health. When you're talking about hazardous materials, we're talking about Fed EPA. You know, we have three types of structures that are in the burn area, the evacuation area. We have structures that are unaffected, we have structures that are damaged, that are still standing, and we have structures that are destroyed. It's just the foundation. So we want to make sure that some of the things that we do to allow people to enter the area to see those three types of structures, because there won't be any medications left at homes that are completely destroyed and that are a foundation. And I think that the county's talked about how you can get prescriptions filled immediately through public health at the recovery centers, if you visit the recovery centers. So what we're trying to do is render the area safe. What does that mean? The fire is out. The fire department has taken care of that danger. Right now, utilities are making sure that there's no danger for people in the area of electrocution or natural gas explosion. So they're shutting off the natural gas, they're cutting the electrical lines, so there's nothing that you can touch and get electrocuted if it was re-energized by accident. And we're removing the health danger by getting the household hazardous materials out so you can come into the area safely. That doesn't mean you can stay there, but it means the area is safe. You cannot get electrocuted. We won't have a natural gas explosion. The fire's been extinguished, and we've removed the hazardous materials that will be dangerous to your health. And that's the job of the EPA. That's what will allow people to come back for 15 minutes, or possibly people to come back to a home that's undamaged and reoccupy it. But for the ones who want to see their home that's been destroyed just for some personal closure, we still have to do those core, the core actions that I just described. The last thing we want as public safety and the county and city leadership, we don't want people going back to an area and getting injured. But we're doing it just as quickly as possible, because we know that there's a lot of conversation about when can I come back. They want a date. We don't have a date, but we're trying to render the area safe.
Repopulation doesn't happen for a week or two. Will you have a chance to go back for 15 minutes? And do we know when? Escorts?
Yeah, you know that Police Chief McDonald talked about that, and they tried to get people up into the area, and it became, they couldn't do it because it was untenable. There were so many cars. It took so many officers to let you come in for 15 minutes. But if you need eyeglasses, if you need medications, if you need insurance documents, please go to those community recovery centers, because we have people there that can get you all of those things you need for your subsistence for the next week. But we just don't want anybody to come in and for it to not be safe. but I want to allow people to reoccupy homes that were not destroyed or damaged. That is our priority. Thank you.
You asked about water quality, and so what I would have residents do anywhere in LA County is go to Water for LA, spelled out, water, WATERFORLA, look up who your water agency is, because we have over 200 water retailers in LA County, so there's specific conditions depending on which water retailer you have. Or you can look at your utility bill and see who serves you water. Go to the website or call the number for your local water agency. They will have it posted specifically whether or not your water for your house is clean for drinking, bathing, or any of those things you asked about.
Sheriff Luna, you spoke about recovery of human remains in the area. I'm wondering if you're able to tell us specifically how many of these locations you potentially have to search for today.
I'm going to answer that, a variety of them. You're looking for specific numbers. When I drove through there last night, I know our deputies were holding several locations where we are waiting for the appropriate resources to come in and unfortunately recover remains. Back to the previous question, there are areas that we've gone through where we are about 85% sure that we have looked through the best that we can. You got to understand, if you haven't been out there, it literally looks like a bomb dropped. There is things everywhere, and we're trying, our people along with all of our partners are doing the best job that they possibly can, but there are areas right now that we have to hold people away from so our people can do their job appropriately, because remember this, I'm very empathetic to anyone who wants to get back to their property. But I'm also very empathetic to people who have missing people that they're waiting to find out if they're deceased. Those are the kind of tragedies or the significance of what we're dealing with. So we have a lot of work to do. And that's why my partners up here are saying, everyone wants to hear a date, and we want to give a date, but we need to make sure we're doing the work appropriately for all the right reasons. And it's going to be a while. It's not going to be in 3 or 4 days. I'm going to say at minimum, at least another week, and that's an estimate, but I believe it's going to be longer than that.
In the middle.
Hi, this is Kate Cagle from Spectrum News 1. I have 2 questions. One is that we've spoken to some residents in the Altadena area saying that their insurance company is asking them for photos of the damage. So what is your advice to them as far as the fact that they can't get back and get them? And then I also had a question for Mayor Bass. I wonder if you've spoken to other mayors who've dealt with similar disasters like Lahaina or Paradise, and what advice they gave you for getting through just the next year when people are so destabilized.
Kevin McGowan, Director with the Office of Emergency Management. For people who want access to photos for damaged and destroyed buildings, they can go to recovery.lacounty.gov. We are posting the damage inspection maps. When you click on the icon, it will show you a picture and it will give you a percentage of the damage. So again, go to recovery.lacounty.gov.
Thank you for the question. Yes, I have heard from many, many mayors. Mayors who go through this on a regular basis, especially those that are in the South. And their number one advice to me was to stay focused, to not get distracted, for all of the reviews and analysis of what happened, what, when, and where, to make sure that you stay focused on saving lives, protecting people, and doing that after the immediate crisis is over. Thank you.
Yeah, and not that you asked, but I'm going to tell you that I've actually talked to County Supervisors Napa, who went through the exact same thing, who is giving me incredible advice, and I'm going to be looking at the way they went about rebuilding, and get lessons learned. So James Gore, who is Sonoma actually, has been very helpful, and I know other supervisors who have faced similar situations have also reached out.
Thank you. Last question, then we'll move to one-on-ones right over here.
Hi, Ross Palumbo from CBS News and KCAL News. My first question is really for Chief Crowley, and I wanted to ask you about the first responders. We're more than a week into this now. The conditions out there have been so difficult for so many of our firefighters and first responders. How are they holding up, and what are they telling you, and what can you and the public really do to help them at this point?
Thank you so much for that question. That means a lot to all of us that have responded to this incident, and we also feel right there with the communities in step. Our first responders, from that very moment when they were called to duty, did their jobs. I've had the opportunity to spend some significant time with our firefighters who are on the line. We visited the local fire stations, we visited the command post. Our firefighters are doing an incredible job, and they have so many feelings just like the community does. I tell you, our firefighters, first responders, everybody that's involved with this, the amount of love and outpour and support from across the world, all the way down to the absolute community members that were negatively impacted and really heavily impacted by this, they feel that love and support. Specifically to our 20 engines that are still actively engaged in Palisades, they've been there since day one. Spoken to a number of them as well, and they are working hard. They're going to continue to focus on our mission with everybody else here. And in the end, I tell you, I've said it multiple times, I'm going to continue to say it, that as their chief, I'm extremely proud of the work that our people did and continue to do and will continue to do well into the future in the many years to come. Thank you.
Thank you. That's the end of our press conference. For one-on-one requests, please approach the front. Spanish, if you want a Spanish interview, please assemble over here. To my right, we will do a press gag. We have 2 Spanish representatives from each of the different fire departments.
Okay, Gina's on it. Great.
Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to the WSBT 22 YouTube channel.